Hello everyone, it's Tuesday again. It's December 13th and it's Harp Tuesday. Somehow I seem to have actually skipped a week. This should have been last week, but better late than never. Before I get on to the episode itself, I want to thank you for subscribing on YouTube. I'm now over 150 subscribers. So, of course, if your numbers go up, it means you're having more fun. And I sent off that digital version, Harp and Marimba Christmas, to the 150th subscriber. And I haven't heard back from the random subscriber that I picked. So if I don't hear back in the next couple days, I will pick a new random subscriber to get a digital copy. And so you may still be a winner. What I'm going to talk about this week doesn't have anything to do with holiday music, but I was looking back through some videos when my brother and I used to do these Christmas concerts when we lived in the same city, and found this video of me playing Carlos Salcedo's crazy concert variations on O Come All Ye Faithful, complete with Santa Claus hat and everything. So I'm uploading that, and I hope you enjoyed that. A little bit of holiday music. But for Harp Tuesday itself, I thought I would take out the Celtic harp and look at a fairly beginnerish type piece from Mildred Dilling's Old Tunes for New Harpists, which is a classic collection of some great pieces. And what I'm going to look at is this on page 13, December 13th, but Old English Country Dance. And I have memories of learning this for the first time and being very excited because midway through we get this sort of repeating little, and I don't know, something about that was really exciting and fitting it all together, and felt like I was really playing something cool. And I thought I'd talk about this in part because that having a little section like that, or an Alberti bass where illustrates something, and that is, when you look at that, oftentimes as you're starting to learn an instrument, you think, wow, that's doing two things at the same time, right? That it's like, whatever it is, patting your head and rubbing your belly, that the left hand is doing this pattern, the right hand is doing something different, and how can you do that? How can you send this message to the left hand to do this thing pattern and the right hand to do this other pattern? And so I'm going to talk about two ways to sort of think about that. But let's actually just get started with the beginning of this piece. And let's look at it hands apart, because at the point where you might be looking at this for the first time, that might be a good thing, a good way to approach some pieces, is you just don't want to overload yourself. And if you're just beginning playing, sometimes it's too slow and too much information if you're trying to find all these notes and pay attention to both hands. So it can be a great tool to look at hands apart. So let's look at the right hand. And we get this. We're going to do that a lot. So let's break that down a little bit. We have a bunch of these chords where they're a third apart, 1 and 2. And this is a great spot to look at a little bit of wrist movement, so that, the fingers are closing, the thumb is wrapping around, and the knuckles are coming up a little bit. You're coming away from the string, ready to just fall back down and place some more notes, and relaxing the arm, getting away from the strings a little bit. And now we're going to do something a little tricky, because we're going to place all three fingers, 1, 2, and 3, on this A, B, and C. And we're going to play 1 and 3 while just keeping 2 on the string. So that, again, I did that episode on finger independence where you're doing these different exercises. And this is, again, something that maybe I feel kind of weird to, how am I supposed to play these two notes while still keeping 2 on the string? So again, you can do practice playing just 3, practice playing just 1 while keeping the other ones on the string. And then eventually, and maybe they won't come right together, maybe they're kind of... And if you're finding that, say, the third finger has a tendency to get played first, try it the other way. Deliberately play the thumb first. And then just really concentrate on playing that thumb with the third finger. Until you're able to comfortably play those two notes at the same time. And so you're going to play those and then move the thumb up, and now just play 1 and 2 just the same as we did at the beginning, coming away from the strings, little wrist movement, little knuckles moving up. So we get... And you can break that down and isolate it because it's probably the trickiest bit for the right hand, and you can just practice that little... Trying to get that as smooth and as comfortable and as even as possible. And so, of course, it continues. We start. So we just have these chords, these thirds, because we come, and then we play those 2 notes again, move up 1 note, and move down a third. So we've just played that C and that E. We're going to move down. The thumb's going to play the C, and the second finger, or 2, I mean the first finger, is going to play the A, and then move up 1 string to finish it off. And just a note about the rhythm, because we have this dotted quarter going on. Let's see, which page is it? This one. Right here at the beginning, we have a dotted quarter followed by an 8th note and then a string of quarter notes, so that we have 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it repeats 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and then we get something slightly different. But so just make sure that you're hearing that rhythm correctly. 1, 2, and 3. The 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And then we get this little bit to finish us off. So that's 3. Then we place 3, 2, 1. Play 3, just as a single note, 2, and then replace. In the music here, she has it marked with a 3. I prefer just going back down to the 2, so that we're always playing this chord. This third is with 1 and 2, so we get and come off on that last one. And again, that's something, if it's a little tricky, you can just practice on its own. And so we get this 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's it. That's essentially, the right hand does that every, 4 times until the very end it's slightly different. And let's look at finishing that we're just going down, we get, and we're replaying that same chord and then just moving down a string and down a string and down a string. And this time there's an extra beat there that we're waiting and then finishing off. So we get 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we repeat it. And this time it's marked près de la table, close to the soundboard. So the point of that is to get a slightly different sound. I guess we only do it 3 times, not 4, I'm sorry. So that instead of this sound, we get slightly different sound. last time, we're back to the middle of the strings. As a misprint in my version, at least, they have it as another A and a C there, but it should, of course, just like the other times, come back up to this D and B. So that's slightly different now. Instead of having an A and F, this third, those third distances, those chords we've been used to, it's now a sixth, and you're going to use 3 to play this C down here, while the thumb is still playing the A. And so that's 1, 2, and 3. Again, we play this G, but with a thumb instead of just the second finger or 2 by itself. And meanwhile, 3 is playing that B. And there's also a writ marked. We can slow down on that last. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's what the right hand's doing. There's this little trickiness, but it's not too bad. Let's look at what the left hand is doing. And the left hand, the first time, so we play this little tune through 3 times. The first time, the left hand is just playing these chords. They're a fifth apart with 1 and 3. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And things to think about is making sure that 2 is not creeping up, that it's just hanging down relaxed. So I'll show you on the right hand because that's easier to see with a camera angle. That 2 is not up like this, that it's just loose and hanging down relaxed, and 3 is just closing nicely into the hand with the palm. And again, great place to think of a little bit of this wrist movement, raising the knuckles up, coming away from the string, and then just coming right back down on the string. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And finally the pattern changes. We get this fourth, and I would suggest 1 and 2. You could do that as 1 and 3, but typically this gap is played with 1 and 2. And a third now. So we get 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that finishes off our first time through. So you can think as you're practicing it left hand, there's not a lot going on, but you can think of just a nice tone coming down, replacing from above, trying to place firmly on the string so that there's not any buzzing going on. You don't want to sort of loosely place your finger on, and if you can, trying to replace later rather than sooner, so that you come down and place and you're ready to play right away. And then we get this little cool bass pattern going, and this first time it's close to the table, close to the sounding board, and it's just 3-1. So again, you can't really see that, can you? Let's just imagine it. Yeah, let's just imagine it that this is close. This is close to the soundboard. Again, making sure that 2 is not sneaking up as you're sitting here playing 1 and 3. That is just hanging down, nice and loose and relaxed. And you're gonna play 3. Into the palm, nice and relaxed. And then you're going to replace before playing 1. So you're going to play 3, replace. I'll do it with the right hand too, so you can also see it from this angle. Replace, play 1, replace, play 3, replace, play 1, etc. And you can start to see if you can get that going a little faster, maybe. You can have fun playing around with seeing how fast you could do that type of thing, but it doesn't actually go particularly fast in the piece. And it does change again when we get to the very last bar. So we've been going 1, 2, 3, 4, and now this last time we're essentially going to play these chords that we did. So instead of this, because we've been playing this except broken up, we're going to play, and this time we're going to start, we placed this fourth with 2 and 1 when it was a single chord by itself, but this time, to start with, we're going to still have 3 on this G. So we've gone the bar before, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're going to place our thumb on C, 1, and now we'll finally move down and place 2. And we're going to come off on this one because we're going to switch, move down. So we need to come off. So again, the last 2 bars, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, change 2, and then place this B, 3, come off, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the last, and of course, close to the soundboard. And then the final verse, we're doing the same thing, middle of the string, and we're down an octave. So instead of playing this G and this D, we're playing this G and D. And again, because we're never coming off, we don't have to worry about the wrist or anything. It's all placed. And the very final bar, of course, is different. So the bar before, we get 1, 2, 3, and this will be 4. And we're going to place with 4. We're going to reach down and place an octave. We're going to place this low D. So we're going to play 4, replace 1, come off 2, and then place this 5th 3. So again, the last 2 bars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So now we get to this. Well, let's look at the first verse. First, that's not too bad. We're just playing. Yeah, maybe a little faster. Yeah, cool. Now we get this where the left hand's doing this. And the right hand's doing something. So again, there's that idea of, whoa, I have to remember and tell my right hand to do that and tell my left hand to do this other pattern. And as I said, there's kind of 2 ways to think about it. On the one hand, yes, we do sort of want to be able to tell one of our hands to, here's a little pattern, just keep playing it. So for example, maybe we have this little Alberti bass where it's 3, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 2, 1. And now, just keep doing that left hand, and the brain's not going to pay any more attention to the left hand. Just let left hand keep on doing that while the right hand has fun doing something else. So that ability to sort of start it going and then kind of turn off your brain for that part and just let it keep on doing its thing is definitely a skill that you want to develop, a skill that you want to have. But also, in a way, we want to be thinking about a piece most of the time, because patterns change all the time. We want to think about a piece not as two separate hands doing two separate things, but as sort of one set of fingers doing, at any one particular point in time, doing one thing at a time. So that while the left hand's doing this, and the right hand's doing this, at any one particular time, they start, here's this first beat, that was one thing. Second beat, there it is, and here's the and then the third beat. So I guess what I'm saying is, for a little pattern like this, it's definitely useful to be able to kind of just tell the left hand to keep doing that while you're maybe paying attention to what the right hand's doing. But especially when you're learning new pieces and maybe complicated stuff, it's probably more helpful not to think of it as two separate patterns going on, but as one thing at any one particular point in time. You're just playing one set of notes. Maybe you're playing 8 set of notes at a point, or maybe you're just playing a single note, but that it's a set of notes followed by a set of notes followed by a set of notes played by your two hands, and it's not necessarily two separate things going on, if that makes any sense. Anyway, let's try to fit this little pattern together. Cool, eh? So once you've got those once you sort of know what the notes are, take it down really slowly then to fit them together. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to actually basically repeat that type of thing. So you can take it down slowly and gradually work it up to speed. And as I said, it's it's an exciting little thing to be playing that at a fairly reasonable speed. So let me try to play the whole thing for you here. I could have done a little bit more of a retard there if I wanted at the end. But there you have it, the Old English Country Dance from Old Tunes for New Harpists, Mildred Dilling. Hopefully you've enjoyed that and found something useful. And I will see you again in 2 weeks' time. Cheers.